Hey everybody, this is Lord Magicus, and this week we're going to play some Coco Folk in Modern. So before we get into that, just letting everybody know that the They Only Fear You playmat is available on Inked Gaming. You may have seen the little promo video I did for it. So if you're interested in that, go check that out. But yeah, let's talk about this list that we have for today. So, since Glasspool Mimic got spoiled, I've been interested in what kind of changes this might let us make to our list fundamentally, and we've seen it been really successful in mono blue. It increases the threat density and makes mono blue almost like able to keep up with the Lurrus Folk build in terms of not running out of threats, because now you get to run slightly less lands, and you have like more beef in your deck now, and it gives you a reason to tick Vial up to 3, so playing stuff like Reedry is good in it. Plus, it's also a land, which means if you have like a Glasspool and a Reedry, then you have better chances of getting the 3 mana to cast the Reedry. So it does a lot for the mono blue deck. But I was curious, does it actually change the blue-green deck at all? And this is a deck where we normally want to run less lands rather than more. And one of the things that we've tried in the past is running Collected Company in Blue-Green Merfolk. And part of the problem with Collected Company for us is we don't really have that same density of creatures that a lot of the other decks do. Like Bant Spirits, for instance. You look at that deck, they run Collected Company, but they also have stuff like Noble Hierarch in their deck to help them hit that 4 mana to be able to cast Company while also having things to put into play off of it. We don't generally play stuff like Noble Hierarch in our deck, and it's not, like you don't want to play too many like one mana cards like Hierarch and Vial in the same deck as Company. So since we don't have Hierarch, it's kind of been a struggle to get to a point where you have the 4 mana to actually ever cast it. And the thing is, Glasspool actually fixes that problem, because now we can run like the 18 lands that we normally run in Simic, but we can put in 4 Glasspool Mimics, which puts us up to 22 lands. And 22 lands is like not unreasonable to get to 4 mana. We might not get there exactly in turn 4, but definitely by like turn 5 or 6, it's reasonable we could see it. We'll curve up into it. But Glasspool is not just a land to help us curve into it, but it's also a creature to keep our density high enough that we have hits off of this. So like 90% of the time we should be hitting 2 creatures off of it. And it's not a bad creature to hit either. We have a lot of lords. Like we already have 12 lords in our deck. So there's almost always going to be something in play to copy with it when you cast it off of Collected Company. And yeah, this effectively lets us have up to 16 lords in the deck. Or if we wanted to really like change stuff, maybe we could trim some of the non-creature spells and put like Mirror Reedries in. That's always an option. Then we could have like almost entirely Lord Merfolk if we really wanted to, but I think we'll try it in the normal-ish shell for this to see if this works first. Now, one thing to be careful of, if you Collected Company into Glasspool Mimic and say a Silvergill Adept, the Glasspool cannot copy the Silvergill that you're putting into play off of the Company. It has to copy something that was already in play. So this is like 0.75 of a hit off of this, like, because you have to have at least 1 creature in play when you cast Coco in order for this to really count as a creature, because otherwise it'll just come into play and it won't have anything to copy and it'll die immediately. So but I think most of the time we should have at least 1 creature out for this to copy. It should be okay. So yeah, if you look at this, 18 lands, but that's really 22 because of Glasspool, and 28 creatures, which is the perfect amount to play with this. And we still get to play with our normal stuff. We have like Dismember and Forces in here. We have our usual 2 Spreading Seas for this build. I'm only going to play 3 Ether Vials, and that's something I'm going to borrow from the Bant Spirits deck. A lot of them only play 3 Vials in the deck, and they play like 3 or 4 Collected Companies. I think that's fine, because Vial's not so... Yeah, we can't really hit Vial off of Company, and if we're gonna curve up and cast things with actual mana because of Glass Pool, then we don't necessarily need Vial as much because we have more instant speed ways to put creatures into play through Company. So yeah, I think just 3 is okay for Vial in this kind of build. Obviously, if we didn't have Collected Company, we would probably just play all 4 of them like normal, but that's fine. And yeah, this leaves us with 5 slots for interaction here, so I'm gonna split it as 2 Force and 3 Dismember, because I think Dismember has been a little bit better than Force has for most of the meta game. When you want Force, you really want to have it, but I think in more games, having the Dismember to just make our aggressive game 1 plan get there is usually a little bit stronger. When you're in game 1, you can't hedge against, like, you can't have the cards that you want against everything. So, like, for instance, if you're fighting up against Neoform, obviously that's a deck where you want all the forces, and Dismember is going to be dead. But if you're up against, like, Death and Taxes in game 1, well, Dismember is going to be way better than Force. This card is almost useless there. So, I mean, we kind of, like, split it a little bit there, and usually the strategy for game 1 is going to be more just try to kill them as fast as possible, and then adapt game 2 and 3 to kind of interact with them a little bit more. And I think Dismember is a little bit better at supporting the aggro plan of just killing them quickly. So I'm always willing to hedge a little bit more in this direction. Yeah, if we have 5 cards, then I think this is a good way to go about it. Now, if there was a lot more combo, then maybe, you could go the other way here. But I think there's enough, like, creature decks where this is probably the right way to go with this. And even against some of them, like against the Amulet Titan deck, Dismember is, like, way better than Force of Negation against that deck anyway. Because you really want to be killing stuff like Dryad when they're going for their Valakut nonsense. So, yeah, if you do that, then you're effectively negating their Valakut, so Dismember in a lot of cases is kind of like a counterspell. I mean, it interacts a lot better against, like, the Counters Company deck and, like, Infect and stuff, so it's not ideal because, like, the splash color here, this makes us take a significantly more damage. It's kind of the downside of Simic versus something like Blue-White. Blue-White's mana base is relatively painless, whereas in Simic we have to play, like, either, like, fetches or more Shocklands or even, like, Waterlog Grove, so life is a very precious resource in this deck, and while I'm not really excited to have to, like, potentially tap, Waterlog Grove and pay 5 life for a Dismember, sometimes that's what you got to do with this deck. Yeah, you just put a ton of Lords into play, and then attack for a bajillion and try to win in turn 4 before losing that life is actually going to matter, so it's fine. And because we have Company in our deck, this means it now opens up some interesting sideboarding options for us too. Which the 2 hits here that I've added are Kira, Great Glass Spinner, and Reclamation Sage. And because we have Company, we can hit them at instant speed, which can fuck up a lot of decks. Reclamation Sage is very good against, we can bring that in against the Amulet Titan deck and blow up either their Amulet of Vigor, or we can blow up Dryad of the Elysian Grove with this Reclamation Sage. So it's an enchantment creature, remember, and Sage will blow it up. So either we can tick Vial up to 3 and hold it, or we can just Company for it and hope that we can find it and kill off their guy. What else? It's also very good against the Stoneforge Mystic decks. Death and Taxes has definitely been a lot more prevalent lately. So being able to kill their stuff like Batterskull or Sword of Fire and Ice or whatnot, or even like Maul of the Skyclave, it really, really helps to have more interaction against it. And this also is an answer to stuff like Ensnaring Bridge, so we can bring it in against stuff like Eldrazi Tron. And the other thing is, Reclamation Sage actually has a really, really cute synergy with Glasspool Mimic. So if you put a Rec Sage in play, you get to blow something up, and then after that you can play Glasspool and copy the Rec Sage and then blow something else up. So having this in the deck actually alongside the Mimic means that we have effectively extra copies of this effect if we need it. And there's definitely room to explore playing in this style of deck, playing more interactive stuff, like maybe, Trick, or maybe Mistbinder's not actually the correct thing to play in this kind of deck, maybe, or even maybe like Dismember or Force is not right. maybe we should play more creatures that have like enter the battlefield effects or something, like Harbinger of the Tides, for instance. That is a completely reasonable line of play, and then it will synergize with this glass pool more, because then every time that you put this in play, it'll have better value, and you get to dig for more value that way too. So there's a synergy with that, and if that that might be strong enough where we should lean into it a little bit more. We'll see. I think it's something worth testing at least. And the other card is Kira, Great Glass Spinner. So yeah, Death and Taxes is a very reasonable deck right now. It's definitely, it was in Nikachu's top 10 list for Modern for this month, and I agree. Like, that deck is a huge beating. The Maul of the Skyclave and Skyclave Apparitioner, absolutely brutal cards to have to deal with. Apparitioner in particular, that is such a ridiculously good card, because it's like an Oblivion Ring, except they don't actually get the thing back when it dies. So even if we remove the Apparitioner with like Dismember, we're not going to get whatever they stole from us back. So yeah, it's rough. At least Kira gives us a little bit of protection from it, so we can put Kira in play to protect ourselves from the Apparitioner, hopefully. And yeah, it's something that we can also find with Collected Company, which is nice. And because we also have Glasspool Mimic, like, there might be some room to tick Vial up to 3 if we have like 8 of these 3 drops to find with it. So who knows? This is also really good if you go up against stuff like Jund too, which Jund is still out there. There's definitely enough removal decks, even like against Death Shadow. I think Kira has got some value to it. Any deck that's going to play like a ton of removal, you want Kira to be there so that yeah, you can stick your stuff to the board and not have to worry about them just picking it off. So Kira is very strong. I'm interested in testing. We don't necessarily need 2 copies, but I think if I'm testing something, I usually like to play at least 2 to see how it's going to go. I mean, it's possible that maybe we just want 1. It's legendary. You can't have more than 1 at a time. So if we ever draw the second one, like, it's sort of dead, but this is also a card that most of those decks are going to go after as much as they can. So it's fine. And then to support that, we're going to play, so we have extra Forces and Dismember in the sideboard, an extra copy of Spreading Seas, because if you do go up against something like Tron, you really want to have interaction for it. 3 Relics, because you need stuff versus Uro, and also if we go up against Dredge, we need something like this too. And finally, Chalice of the Void. Keeping Chalice here because it's really good against the Prowess decks, and we need to have some help versus them. Prowess is insanely strong, so I'm hoping that if we can just get a Chalice out, and the rest of their cards here will be able to carry the game for us. We've got a pretty aggressive clock with it, so yeah, that's my hope here. I think this list looks okay. We'll try it and see how it works out. So I will see you for round 1 in a few seconds, so I'll be right back. Okay, and here we go for round 1. We are on the play. We're up against Danny the Fist. This hand's like okay. It's not amazing, but I think I'm going to keep it. This is a situation where Glasspool is likely going to copy one of these creatures. They mulled to 6, so that's good. Alright. We play this, not pay the life. Let's see, what are we up against here? Verdant Catacombs. Ugh, means we're probably getting Thought Seized. I mean, I'm not usually excited to see this in turn 1. Yep, alright. They see we're on Merfolk. This is probably Jund. We'll see, it might be like a Jund Shadow deck. Or it could be like regular Jund. This is definitely not the kind of hand that you want against them, because we're lacking in threats, and they're just going to take our stuff away. And they know we have Trickster in hand, so it's going to be kind of rough. We're not going to kill Tarmogoyfs with it anytime soon. That is not what we needed here. Ugh. Drawing lands against Thoughtseize is the worst. And the problem is, like, Glasspool is going to be incredibly hard to actually do anything with here, because Well, they got Scavenging Ooze. Oh, so what do I do here? This is an opportunity to play Trickster and copy it next turn. Like, I almost feel like we need to do that. Because if I don't do it now, they're not going to tap out again to give me another opportunity to get this Glass Pull as a creature into play. They'll just hold up like Fatal Push or something. Oh, come on, deck! Like, stop flooding us out here. This is not good. We've drawn like, what, 2 lands now? This is bad. That Thoughtseize just like ruined us. But then, yeah, like, it's not just Thoughtseize. Like, our top decks were like not great after that either, so. But I wanted to put 2 creatures in play just in case they play like Liliana or something. No, I'm not going to block. Because they're just going to eat Lord of Atlantis and make this a 3/3. Yep. Come on! Alright, well this would be like where Collected Company would be really good here, so. Alright, we'll probably see them like Bolt or Fatal Push something here. Alright. So it looks like regular Jund to me, but I could be wrong. We're in a lot of trouble too. We've drawn 3 straight lands after a Thoughtseize, and we already had a land heavy hand, so. The only thing that like is sort of good is it looks like they don't have a lot going on, so maybe if we can just like, if we can draw like Collected Company, we might be in okay shape. That could get us back into this. That's not helpful. Discarded Kroxa and Lightning Bolt. That's not the one that we needed here. Alright, just pass. I can't really do anything here. They're going to get Kroxa back, and like, I need to have cards in my hand to discard to it, but we're still going to take like a bajillion damage. We're fucked. Like, yeah, we just like, we flooded out like really, really hard, and there's like no possible way that we can come back from this. Kroxa's going to come back. They have like a million power in play. Alright. Well, we're not going to, I guess we won't concede yet, but it's pretty close to that point. Actually, I should block one of these, but it doesn't matter. Okay, we're dead. Like, Kroxa's going to come out and we can't stop it. Our hand was fucking trash. Alright, we want Kira and we want Dismember. We don't want Force of Negation. We do want Relic. I think this is a match where we can safely take out Aether Vial. Spreading Seas is also very good. Thing is, we don't really have a lot else to take out. You can take out, like, Menace Speaker, I guess. They have, like, Plague Engineer, so I can't really afford to take out the Lord, so I guess the Speaker is probably the best thing to take out. I would love to be on the play. This hand looked great. We're gonna keep this. We just have like infinity creatures to play. Like, this is the kind of hand that you need to like have a reasonable chance versus Jund. So like, even if they Thoughtseize us here, we have like 3 lords and 2 other relevant creatures. Yeah, we're definitely doing okay here. And if I think if we draw Collected Company, I might play this Glass Pool as a creature on turn 3. Or I mean as a land on turn 3. So they can probably take Lord of Atlantis here. That would be my assumption. They're going to know about the Trickster again, so like Tarmogoyf is not in any danger. But That was a really rough game one, and now we're kind of like, yeah, we have a very, very uphill battle for this match, so we'll see how this goes. That's actually pretty good to play here. I'm gonna start removing creatures from the graveyards so that Scavenging Ooze can't be a thing. No, they might get like Wrenn and 6 here. Tarmogoyf. Okay, I'm not scared of Tarmogoyf. Excellent. I guess I can just play Mistbinder here, right? Because they still can't attack into this. I can just threaten to crack Relic. So Company is still a pretty good draw if we can find it. That's excellent. Okay, so we take a hit off Tarmogoyf, but we're gonna play probably Kira this turn. I believe they know our 3 cards at this point, so we can just pass. So they have to play like Liliana to kill this thing right now. I'm definitely not going to block, so. Okay, another Tarmogoyf is fine. That's pretty good too. We're at 10, so like that's not good for them. So here, let's play a Lord. We can hold up Trickster so that we can kill off one of these Tarmogoyfs. Yeah, like, we're actually in a pretty good spot here. They have to be very careful, or otherwise we could kill them very quickly. Alright, well, that's not ideal. See, that's definitely not ideal, but at least Kira is threat. Like, Kira keeps us in this. Okay, so they might just attack with the Bloodbraid Elf here. No, they're going in with Goyf. Alright, well, it's fine. We can eat one of these things. Take 5 damage, kill off another Tarmogoyf. Probably we'll just copy Lord of Atlantis here. That's not bad. So let's attack in the air with Kira, put them to 6. There's a Kroxa there, that's not ideal. Oops. And they're tapped out too, like, so we can pretty safely copy the Lord. I have Dismember as, yeah, to kill whatever. They're on a 3-turn clock with this Kira right now. If they activate the Raging Ravine, I might want to dismember that. It looks like we're in a pretty good spot here. Just have to be careful that this Kroxa doesn't come back and wreck us. Because once it enters the battlefield, we have to... If we don't have a card to discard to it, we are going to lose 3 life right away. So, and we very well may not have a card. If they use, like, double removal on Kara, we might need to play Kara and dismember something. And this is going to put us to 7. We'll take some damage. So like we could be in danger to this Kroxa. Ooh, that's not great. Well, that's not the worst either. We still have dismember for that thing, so... They only have 2 cards in hand. Interesting. So let's block the Bloodbraid Elf, I guess. So like Spreading Seas just wins the game, right? If we copy Lord here and attack with everything, like, they have to block everything then. Alright, so we can go to 5. We have something to discard to Kroxa. I think this is winning. They do have to, like, block 3 things. Yeah, I think you don't want to probably keep the Tarmogoyf. Ouch. Okay, well, we do have a card to discard to Kroxa, so we're not dead if they play that. Kroxa plus Bolt's not enough. Yeah, okay. We got their game too. And we saw the power of Glasspool Mimic. Like, Mimic was fantastic there. I think this plan was good. We'll just run this back and pray. Alright. Alright. I think we keep this. This is a hand where we're probably going to play Glasspool in turn 1. That's tempting as well. I could play the Relic here, and then I have Dismember up for next turn. I like this. So if I draw another land, then like I'd rather keep Glasspool in hand, but we have stuff to do with 1 mana next turn anyway, so even if they tap out and play like Tarmogoyf for a Scavenging Ooze or something, I can just Dismember it. Actually, hold on. Turn off auto yields. Because I need to have this Relic to activate in their turn. So it looks like they're holding up Lightning Bolt here, so we'll just like keep their graveyard empty because they may have Wrenn and 6 to get these foothills back. So, I mean, it also pumps up Tarmogoyf. Alright, pass. Silvergill's a good pickup. That's something that we can play. Start to find more land drops, hopefully. Okay, that's a very impotent Tarmogoyf. I don't want to waste a Dismember on that. Okay. They just F6, so they don't have 1 mana removal. Or no, they okay. So they pass to the end of the turns. They didn't bolt the Silvergill Adept or anything, so I'm guessing they don't have 1 mana removal. Maybe this means they have Plague Engineer though, which would not be great. But at least we have Dismember for that, if that's the case. Oh, this is Bloodbraid Elf. Okay, that's fine. That's less fine. So I'm probably going to discard a Dismember if they tick it up. And if they tick it down... Okay, well, that's not nice. So I guess here... Relic them to get the land away. So I take less damage. I really need more lands, though. So the problem is, like, Liliana's gonna tick up. I need a way to kill off all this nonsense. Alright, well, I may have to, like, start using these dismembers aggressively. Oh, fuck. Well, it's not good. I guess I'm just discarding one of these. I kind of want... I have to, like... Alright, we're going to discard the Mistbinder. Because there's no guarantee that we're going to cast... So my plan here is that I want to dismember the Tarmogoyf. Or I can, like, try to use Trickster on it. That's also fine. You know what? The Trickster plan seems good here, because then I can attempt to kill Liliana. Hope they don't have removal. They probably do. They have 4 cards, so, like, it's not likely to work. Okay, but we save ourselves some more life. Ugh, not great. Ugh. I need this land so badly. We're just like getting mana screwed here. We should have like 22 lands or mana sources, and this is just terrible. So the problem, like, now, if I play Silvergill and don't draw the land, I am fucked. I could crack the relic here. I think, you know what, cracking the relic makes the most amount of sense. Because at least I still have the Dismember even if I don't draw another land. Okay, well that's helpful, I guess. But we needed that way earlier because now we're very behind. Let's see, do you have another removal spell? Yes, you do. Ugh, that's bad. Alright, well, we're going to get crunched hard. Yeah, the second Dismember is now going to be pretty much offline, so... Liliana is also going to just kill whatever we play here, so... There's, like, no winning this. Yeah, okay, we're definitely dead now, because we just, like, got mana screwed in this game, and we just couldn't get on the board fast enough to keep up with this. That's also useless, because there's no way we survive this turn. They're going to kill us now, no matter what. If I play a creature, Liliana is just going to kill it, so we lose. Alright. I mean... Fuck. It sucks, because we had, like, everything that we needed. We just needed the lands, and we couldn't find them fast enough, so whatever. It happens. Jund is rough for this reason. I mean, we saw Kira do what it was supposed to do. I think there were some opportunities where if we had company, like, that could have been good in this match, too, but... Unfortunately, yeah, we just kind of got tripped up on our mana here and fell behind too fast, so... It is what it is. We move on to the next round, and we'll see how this goes. So I will see you next match. Take it easy. Make sure you give these a thumbs up and leave some comments. I will look through them. So see you next time.